Imagine riding a bus like everyone else to go to school, but before you know it, Train Kun comes crashing into your bus, ending your life in that instant. The only thing you remember in your last moments was promising the love of your life that you will stay by her side forever. And when you wake up, you realize that your name is no longer Haruto, but that your name is now actually Ryo, and have powers given by God hidden inside of you. With all these memories flashing into his mind, Ryo wonders if the fever is causing these hallucinations. But a couple of guys interrupt his thoughts and enter the home with a giant bag. Those guys make fun of his stinky smell and tell him to go outside to clean himself. While picking berries, Ryo continues wondering who this Haruto person was, but decides that it doesn't matter because he is Ryo, and his life mission is avenging his mother who was slain in front of him. A group of girls come up to Ryo, and Celia introduces herself and asks him if he's seen their friend coming around. But Ryo says that he hasn't seen anyone around. A magical circle is cast, and Celia discovers his body is overflowing with magical power. After paying him for his information, Ryo rushes home to his comrades, but finds a bandit ready to stab him. His only saving grace was the coin pouch to protect him from being killed, and Ryo sees all his partners have been murdered. The bandit stands before Ryo, and as he is about to meet his doom, a woman calls him Haruto and teaches him how to use the incredible magical energy inside of him. Suddenly, his speed increases beyond compare, and his strength multiplies as he strikes the bandit. He begins dodging every slash coming his way, and his agility allows him to kick the bandit and clutch onto his arm, breaking the bones inside of him. The bandit charges towards him one last time, but Ryo takes him down, knocking him unconscious. A girl crying for help can be heard from the bag, and he finds the girl Celia was asking about. The princess begs him to save her from this mess, but passes out when she sees the bodies next to her. Ryo carries her to Celia and her friends, but all he gets is a slap for a reward. They accuse him for being the person who kidnapped their princess and apprehend him to their headquarters. A bunch of other soldiers come to investigate what occurred, and they find the bandit that slayed all of the people inside the home. However, a mysterious man thinks that this is unfortunate and crushes a crystal that kills the person immediately. Inside the capital, Ryo is tied up and gets questioned about how he kidnapped the princess. He denies all allegations they throw at him, but the soldier uses his steel club to strike him down, torturing him until he confesses that he was the one who kidnapped the princess, but Ryo never falters. The princess wakes up from her sleep, and her comrades ask her what happened to her. She tells them that Ryo was actually the one who rescued her, and that he should be summoned here at this moment. Ryo is still being beat up to the point where he's about to die from the amount of abuse he's taken. But the soldier continues doing this to restore their reputation for being useless when letting the princess get kidnapped. The princess's aide barges in, asking him what the hell he thinks he's doing to the boy, and informs him that he was the one who saved the princess. They let him down, but his body collapses from all the bones they broke, and Celia rushes to heal him. After falling unconscious, Ryo wakes up to Celia's face, and she apologizes for all the bad things that happened to him when he was just helping the princess. She informs him that the king of the nation wants to meet with him after rescuing his daughter, and he agrees to meet him. Inside the castle, he goes to meet with the king, showing the entire royal family that he went from asking the princess's dad for permission to take her on a date, to telling him that his daughter calls him daddy too. A few days pass inside the kingdom, and Ryo is ready to attend school along with his peers. But his welcome on his first day isn't the warmest, and is bullied in the class by a certain brat that mocks the way he talks. As the school day goes on, his peers discover that he can't read yet and continue making fun of him. But Ryo doesn't give up easily, and goes to his teacher's room after school for some private tutoring. You know what private tutoring I'm talking about. After a few hours of study, Ryo solves every single problem presented to him once he learned all the symbols. This is all simple addition after all, and he has all the memories of being a university student. Celia asks him if anything's been bothering him in school over a cup of tea, and he feels sad that he's being picked on already but shrugs it off and pretends that nothing is wrong. A few weeks pass during sword practice, and the instructor tells Ryo to come and spar with him after noticing his interesting form. Ryo demonstrates his unorthodox form, and rushes towards the instructor to battle him. His dojo lessons from his grandpa allow him to continue striking while keeping up his defense, but the kid continues making fun of the way he uses his sword. The instructor is impressed with Ryo's prowess, and asks him if he has considered becoming a knight for the kingdom, but Ryo is the only one in the class who doesn't want to become a knight. Months pass and Rio continues learning the language to catch up with everyone else in his class. After a short while, his intelligence surpasses everyone else's in the class, but his memories of his previous life continue flooding him, missing Mai-chan. Because in this world, the only thing he has is people bullying him. Rio remembers Mai-chan being his childhood love, but being separated from her when his parents divorced. Then Haruto saw her once in high school, but she never came back again to school as though she had erased herself from existence. Rio's internal conflict grows, strengthening his resolve that Haruto is dead, and that he is real and will live through all of this. The next morning, the exam results are announced, and everyone is surprised to find a homeless orphan scoring a perfect score along with the princess. The brats who don't deserve a name continue bullying him, calling him a cheater because he's too stupid to do as well as a princess. The princess's friend defends him, calling them jealous sore losers, and Celia backs them up by asking him for any evidence of Haruto cheating. They head off after being ashamed in front of everyone, and Celia later tells him how worried she is about the way the kids are bullying him. Rio asks her if she experienced a similar treatment growing up, but she tells him that she at least had friends when growing up. Rio tells her that he will also be fine, because he has Celia as a friend after all. Celia blushes like a typical anime girl, telling him that she doesn't mind if she's his friend, but he continues asking her to repeat herself because it's making him break up.
Stop it. Get some help.
Their relationship strengthens, and Celia promises that she'll always hug Rio if he's ever crying from all the bullying. Rio tells her that it'll be perfect for comforting him because she's so small after all.
You're a victim!
Years pass as they spend them together, and before they know it, Rio is being asked to represent the school in the next sword arts tournament. The unnamed brat's balls haven't dropped yet, and he rejects the idea of Rio being the person representing the school. The instructor denies their objections, and Celia is impressed by how strong Rio has become, and notices how much taller he has become now. She tells him that he's gotten so big after 5 years, but he tells her that she's still as small as ever.
Emotional damage!
After drinking a cup of tea, Celia asks Rio what he plans on doing after graduating, but he tells her that he plans on leaving this country because there's no place for him here. This saddens Celia, especially because he's helped her clean this place up and always cheered her up when things got hard. Rio apologizes for having to leave, but reminds her that she will soon be getting married, to which Celia rejects the idea of getting married anytime soon. He tells her that she should start thinking about it soon because she might end up growing old, but then tells her that she'll always be small in the important areas so it doesn't matter after all. Celia wonders where Rio's adventures will take him, and his only wish is to get to the country where his mother used to live before her death. Celia notices him spacing out in sadness and wonders what could have gone on in his life. The tournament day arrives, and the first defender of the academy happens to be Rio. The brat tells him that no one is expecting anything out of him anyway, but that he should avoid shaming the academy with his sword skills. His opponent appears on the field, and it happens to be no other than the man who tortured him meaninglessly when he was young. The battle commences, and the soldier wonders if he's mocking him. The knight fights all out, using his entire strength because he's been demoted since that incident 5 years ago. But his anger only causes him to rush out and compromise his position in the process, allowing Rio to knock his sword into the air and finish the match. The soldier becomes a sore loser and tells them that he just wasn't trying and will be more serious. But the referee yells at him to take his loss as an honorable knight instead of a wimp. The night after the tournament, a mysterious man drinks with the soldier, prying him for information. He asks him who that student was, as he was the only one to win a match while his peers all got destroyed. The soldier reveals that Rio was the one who saved the princess 5 years ago, and this captures the mysterious man's attention. The next day, Celia is excited to congratulate him for how well he battled, but sees Rio walking towards a woman that confesses her love to him, and wonders how she truly feels about him. During his classes, Celia teaches everyone about using lightning to control magical power, but the brat points out that they're only learning this because Rio is the only one who can't control any of his magical abilities. For all the crap he talks, he only is able to create a small orb of light, and Celia demonstrates to the class that you must be able to control multiple orbs of light at once to truly master it. Rio is impressed by her control, and wonders why he's only able to copy others' magic only after seeing it. After class, one of the brats comes up to Rio and tells him to stop seducing women everywhere just because he won by a fluke. Celia stands up for Rio, but the brat tells her that Rio's been flirting with her too. She denies this ever happening, but the brat tells him that his house will not stay silent if he continues playing with girls' emotions. The princess, Flora, sees this and is upset that he's being falsely accused. She blames herself for causing all these problems for him and wonders how she can repay him for rescuing her. A few weeks pass, and the annoying kid introduces the rest of his class to their class operation that they must complete for a high grade. He reveals that he's obtained classified information from upperclassmen, and has his friend make Rio carry all the luggage because he can't cast magic. Rio accepts without objecting, but Flora feels bad for him and asks him if she could help him carrying it. Rio stays a chivalrous man, and Flora feels bad for Rio constantly having to deal with all of this again. Goblins come to attack them, but the students fend them off without any trouble and make fun of Rio for being the only one who didn't do anything yet again. But what they don't know is that Rio is the only one who is able to notice the creepy man watching over them. As they reach the end of the path and think they are finished, they see a giant cliff before the finish line. But before they are able to understand their situation, a group of orcs come and launch their spears at them. Rio parries one of their strikes, but the brat gets slashed in the foot by one of their spears. The brat runs towards one of the students who pushes him off into the princess. Flora falls off the cliff unexpectedly, and Rio dashes towards her with his full speed, diving in and knocking her back onto the cliff to save her life. The orcs continue battling against the students, but they group up together to take care of the enemy in their way with their magical abilities. They eliminate the first horde of them and celebrate, but Rio wonders if he would be able to join them since he didn't take any fall damage using his mysterious magical abilities gifted to him. The students blame the brat for pushing Flora off the cliff, but the brat tries to blame Rio for being the one who pushed him and makes up a scenario to put all the blame on him. The rest of the students believe his story. Even as Flora attempts to stand up for him, Rio realizes that even his wishes for graduating from this academy won't come true, and as Flora attempts to clear Rio of any of the blame, a giant beast comes flying above, blocking them from their exit. All of the students group up again and use their magical ability, but the giant monster knocks all of their magical weapons away and dodges any of their attacks. None of the students stand a chance against him, and as they run away to avoid their death, Flora is the only one staying back to heal one of her fallen peers. The beast comes from behind her, ready to finish her off. But Rio comes in to slash the monster in the last second. With his magical ability, he enhances his speed and agility, allowing him to slash towards the monster and dodge all of the attacks coming in his way. The monster jumps to the sky to prepare a strong slash, but Rio dodges it and continues his attack to hold the monster off. Rio parries all of the blows coming his way. The rest of the students come to make sure Flora